Howdy ho there friends, Bobby here today. Hey folks, today we're going to be doing a rear brake job on a 2005 Buick LaCrosse. It's going to be unlike a typical brake job. We're going to step it up a notch, okay? So come over here, let's take a look at our parts there. We have some brand new rotors and some brand new pads. These are the CarQuest Wear Over Platinum Professional Series. I've used these before on customers' cars and they've seemed to work out pretty good, so I thought I'd try some for mine. The extra thing that we're going to do to take this up, take it up a level, is we're going to take engine enamel, black in color, and we're going to paint our hubs of our rotors so we don't get rust on them, like that we can see through the wheels later on. We're also going to try to paint the edge of the rotor as well, and we're going to paint all of our brake hardware and calipers as well. Okay. And we'll have links on this video taking you to this series, because we've done a front brake job, we're doing this rear brake job, we also done a hub bearing, and we had a video showing you how to clean all the brake parts and everything up before you even get started if you decide you want to paint your brake calipers and rotor hubs yourself. So friends, let's get started. We're going to go back and start taking the rear brakes apart. Okay folks, we're going to use our 3/8 air ratchet with a 14mm 3/8 swivel socket to pull our caliper bolts off here. So let's reach in here and see if we can do this with this tool. Okay, there's one, and the lower one. All right, so now let's see if we can pull this caliper out of place. And there we go. Okay friends, hey, we took that caliper and we just kind of laid it out of the way. There's a nice little place for it to rest over here without stressing out our rubber brake line. And now we're going to take our air ratchet with a 13mm swivel socket on here. We're going to pull these two caliper bolts to hold the caliper bracket off. Okay. Okay, with that bolt removed, let's go ahead and pull our caliper bracket off. And last but not least, we'll go ahead and pull the rotor off as well. And that's just about everything disassembled on the rear. It really wasn't that hard. Now from this point, we will start cleaning up our caliper brackets and our caliper and everything, and start getting them ready to paint. Okay folks, hey, we're getting ready to paint our rotors here. And what we've got here, we've already cleaned up our rotors real good. I used a rag and some brake cleaner, wiped all the oil and cosmoline off of our rotors after they come out of the new box. And we're going to paint the edges of these rotors. Also going to paint the hubs here, so once the car gets on the road and gets some rain and stuff on it, the edges of the rotors won't rust. That looks terrible through the wheels. Okay, so I'll show you a little trick here. We're going to take our can of engine paint here and a foam roller, and we're just going to load this up really good. Load it up really good, and we're going to grab this rotor, and we're going to roll a coat of paint on the edge of it. Okay, let me load this roller up again, and we're going to go ahead and put a coat on our other rear rotor here. That's going on nicely. Okay friends, I'm going to load the roller one more time, and we will apply a second coat on the edges of these rotors, and then we should be ready to start painting these hubs. Okay friends, we have a template here that we cut out of a cardboard box. We're going to lay it down here on our hub, or on our rotor, and then we're going to go ahead and apply a couple coats of this engine paint to this hub area. Keep that baby from rusting. Okay friends, that's one coat on our one of our rotors. We're getting ready to apply a coat on the second rotor. And just a quick little tip here, just always keep the can moving and bring your finger on and off of the paint can so that you don't end up dumping a bunch of paint in one little spot and causing a big run. Okay, we're back on the first one, getting ready to do the second coat, and then we should be good to go. Okay folks, that just about does. We've got two coats of our high temp engine paint on these rear rotors. We're going to get busy cleaning up these calipers and caliper brackets and get them painted as well. Okay folks, before we start cleaning and painting these calipers back here on the rear, I want to go and press back these pistons while I can now. And on the rear here, you will need a rear caliper tool to press them back. Let me show you one thing real quick. As you'll notice, there's a notch right here in our piston here. And this notch has to fit. Let me reach down here to this old brake pad. And you'll see that there's a little thing that sticks out at the bottom, and this got to ride in between one of these notches. So when I press this back, I want it to be in such a fashion to where this lines up as it does right now. So let's go ahead and take our tool and we'll go ahead and install it in here. And you may need a 1-inch wrench to hold this. You may or may not with this tool, but I think I can just hold it by hand. I'm going to use my 1/2-inch ratchet with a 9/16 socket on here, and we're going to go ahead and spin this back. And as it spins back, you can by hand just keep rotating this and putting a little tension on it as you go in. Now it's spinning back just fine. It's not hard to do. Now I'm actually kind of eyeballing this and looking at that notch as I'm going in, because I want to keep this lined up about the same. We'll go one more half turn and I should be there, and I am there right now. So now we'll just take our tool out, and that's all you have to do to press back your rear caliper. Okay friends, we've wiped off our rear calipers here with some brake clean and a rag, and we sprayed them off good and let them dry. We took some tape and masked up a little bit of our brake line here. We're going to try to get a coat of paint on these rear calipers. It's a little tricky because you got the parking brake cable and the brake line hooked up here, so we're going to try to just get one coat of coverage here on the bottom, the part that you really won't see that much, and then we'll do that and we'll flip it over and try to get 2 coats on the top. But this is going to take a little time to get this right. Okay, with 1 coat on the inside there, we're going to try to get our first coat on the outside of the caliper. Okay, now we're going to go and put our second coat of paint on the outside part of this caliper, and we should be good to go. Now that we got our calipers painted, we're going to move over here to our caliper bracket. And what I've done earlier is I took a wire brush, I took all the old spring clips, stainless steel clips off of our calipers, wire brushed these surfaces real good, took brake clean and a rag, wiped them down good, sprayed them down, and I masked up our little rubber boots here. Okay, so now we've got our can of engine enamel, and we're going to go ahead and spray our first coat on the undersides of these things, and then we'll flip it over and get the part that you'll see the most painted. Okay, now with the underside painted, we flipped them over. We're going to put our first coat on the outside. Okay, now for the second and final coat on these calipers, and then we'll be close to being done. Okay, that's 2 coats of paint on our caliper brackets and 2 coats on our calipers. We'll let all this stuff sit overnight, and we'll get these rear brakes back together for you. Okay friends, hey, it's the next day. Our parts are nice and dry, and we're getting ready to put these rear brakes back together so we can take this car out and drive it. Okay, first thing we're going to do is I pulled my pins out of the little boots here. We're going to go ahead and pull them out one by one, and we're going to wipe all the old grease and stuff off of them pretty good and re-lube them with this 3M brand silicone paste. So we're going to get some of this and put on there, put a nice generous coating of that lubricant on there, and go and shove it back in. Kind of twist it as you go back in, kind of helps it to lubricate properly. Get your little boot back up around there. We're going to go and do this side as well. Let me wipe it off as well. And we'll get another coat on here. Ooh, that's too much. That should be good right there. We're going to shove it in and twist it as you go in and pop it back in place. Wipe off the excess. Now we have these brand new stainless steel clips here to pop in place. So we're going to go ahead and put them in. Snap them in place for our pads to ride on both sides. Okay. All right, friends, we're ready to go back and actually put the rotors and the caliper bracket in place. One thing I want to talk to you about, these pads here, you notice these two white stripes on them. That's actually a burnishing compound that will actually help to seat these pads up against the brand new rotors. And once again, these pads are CarQuest brand, Wear Over Platinum Professional. I've had pretty good luck using these on customer cars, and I'm hoping I'll have good luck here on my car as well. We'll try to find a link to these, and we'll actually put them on the down in the description for you in case you want to purchase these. Let's get started. One more thing before we head over to the car. I'm going to go ahead and slide these pads into our caliper bracket here. The one pad that has the little tab here, this is your squealer. It always goes toward the inside. It will be on the inside of the rotor. So we're going to go and put these in place. And then we will head on over to the car and get the rotor and this caliper bracket installed. All right, back at the car, we're going to start by putting our new rotor in place. And a little trick here, take a pair of needle nose vice grips and you can just kind of clamp on to one of the studs here, hang on. And to keep your rotor from flopping around while you're putting your brakes back together. Okay, now with our caliper bracket loaded with the brand new pads, we're going to go ahead and slide it in place here. We got our two bolts here. We're going to go ahead and get them started by hand. Now with our 13mm swivel socket on our 3/8 ratchet, we're going to go ahead and snug down both of these bolts. Okay, so now with our torque wrench set at 50 foot-pounds, we're going to go ahead and torque both of these caliper bolts here. We'll do the upper one. Okay, now we'll go down below. All right. Now we're going to take our caliper and we're going to slide it into place. And we'll take our two bolts here and we'll go ahead and start them by hand. Now with our 14mm socket on our 3/8 air ratchet, we will just go ahead and snug this one down. Now with our torque wrench set at 25 foot-pounds, and we will have to take a 19mm or 3/4 wrench to hold the caliper pin, we'll go ahead and torque these down as well. Okay friends, that just about wraps it up there. We got the brakes all back together. We're going to put the wheels on this thing and take it for a drive. Folks, I want to thank you for stopping by and watching our video today. Hopefully you found it helpful, found it educational. Don't forget to like our video, subscribe to our channel, tell a couple friends about us. Friends, at the bottom down in the description, I will try to find some links to some of the parts that we actually used in this project today in case you want to try them out yourself. All right, once again, take care and we'll see you next time.